What is up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of Live Locks presented by Scores and Odds. If you haven't checked it out already, just making bad life choices, going over to scoresandodds.com where you got picks from me, Meansy. No, all the great supposed to get access to this nice little prop shopping tool where you can see exactly what we have projected for each individual prop, plus where the best lines are at. And most importantly, you get access to Grant's Action Lounge. What is Grant's Action Lounge? It's my Discord. I'm throwing in all my picks each and every day, but absolutely crushing it recently. I made like 50 G's in the last month. If you've been watching the show, just the ones given out on the show made like 16K, but in the Discord, way more than that. So go get signed up. It's that simple. I'm joined today by some would call my friend, some would call my foe, someone would call him just a guy living in Florida, a Florida man. Daniel Trevelson, how you doing there, Daniel?
All those, I guess, are true. I don't know who would call me your foe. Would you call me your foe?
I would say you would and me would call each other foes and friends, frenemies, as some people might state it.
Yeah, it's been too long. I'm happy to be back and jump on and pop on here, and I'm glad to hear about all your success. You're almost winning too much money, Grant. You know they're going to start limiting you soon.
Yeah, I've been cut off quite a few places recently. We talked about it with the show. I've gotten cut off quite a bit in the last month just because. Yeah.
You gotta go into tank mode, like you're the Rockets or something like that.
Yeah, I should have. I was just winning too much money. Like, yeah. Neither here nor there. Limits happen. You move on. You take trips to Arizona to hammer the sports books there.
You're in a good state, thankfully, because you have a lot of options.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm on, I don't even know. I think I'm on 13, 14 different sports books. And it's just Colorado it's Colorado and it's New Jersey are the two meccas, I feel.
Those are the meccas, yeah.
Yeah, which is wild that Vegas had such a head start and managed to just crap the bed horribly.
Blew it.
But we got Thursday Night Football. I would say it's going to be a good one. It's not, though. It's going to be hot garbage. But that's not going to keep me from betting on it. I got a decent amount of bets. You ready to get into it?
Yeah, I mean, Russ Wilson versus Matt Ryan would have been a lot of fun like 6 years ago.
4 years ago, even.
Ryan is terrible, too. Like, he's terrible now. But go ahead.
Yeah, he hit the downhill slope pretty hard. But he's passing the ball a lot. Do you know how many passing attempts he's had the last 4 games?
Not off the top of my head. I know, well, didn't they have one overtime game that like they were behind for a while, too?
Yeah.
I know he's been sacked a ton. I feel like he's been sacked a bunch.
Yeah, that line has not been great. I mean, I feel like there's injuries on it. It's supposed to be one of the better offensive lines, but they've had some injuries. They've struggled. May get together eventually, but I mean, they're no Jonathan Taylor tonight. They've got to pass the ball a decent amount. Matt Ryan's pass attempts line sitting at 32.5. I got it minus 120 over at Betfred, and he's had 37, 37, 30, and 50 in the first 4 games with the 31 coming against, I think, the Jags, which they were shut out. And they just knew they had no chance there and just were entirely anemic offensively. 32.5 is way too low of a line. I mean, he's hitting 3 out of 4 games. Should easily crush the over in this spot.
Yeah, I mean, the backfield, Naheem Hines, isn't like the kind of guy you're going to give the ball 20 carries to. They do have Philip Lindsay for a revenge game. And a person named Deion Jackson is apparently in the depth chart as well. But, I guess they're going to be passing the ball a fair bit out of necessity. You pass the ball to Hines more so than run. I mean, you can run it with him, sure, but he seems to be better out in the flat. We talked about this before the show, and the other side of that game looks like Latavius Murray, proud of UCF, was just picked up by Denver, but he's not expected to be active tonight. I thought it was just going to be Gordon and Boone, but apparently we have a Ozigbo possibly being a guy in their depth chart. I'm not sure if that's certain or not. Just throwing it out there as far as the Denver situation. But, of course, one of the big storylines of the game tonight is that both starting running backs are out. Obviously Taylor not out for the season, like Javonte is for Denver. But, and then we have Russ and Ryan, who I don't know, man. We always have small samples to work with, but they don't really look very good. Ugh. Russ doesn't run anymore.
Yeah, no, Russ isn't great.
It's man, it was maybe Pete Carroll is smarter than we all think. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I certainly was one of those people like goofing on Pete Carroll and
yeah, no, it's hilarious that he turned Geno Smith into the best quarterback in the NFL.
I saw. I mean, obviously that's hyperbole, but I know what you're saying. I saw a great tweet the other day. Somebody said, "Oh man, Russ, Russ held Pete back for his best year, his best career." I'm butchering it. Never mind.
Yeah.
I did a bad job of telling it, but basically, Russ was holding back Pete in his prime years, essentially. But
Yeah.
Because people assume the inverse. Yeah.
Yeah, we joke, but yeah, I mean Pete Carroll may actually just be a fantastic coach, and there might have been something to him running the ball 30 times a game. But
I guess, yeah, I don't know. Or Russ, was always undersized and always kind of an overachiever, and maybe injuries and playing for 12 years in the league or whatever it is finally caught up with him.
Yeah, plus I mean having Lockett and Metcalf, I think was pretty huge. Or Baldwin and Lockett,
Sutton and Judy's pretty good.
Sutton and Judy are pretty good, but who'd you rather have, Lockett and Metcalf or Sutton and Judy?
I guess it's Lockett and Metcalf, but I don't know.
Lockett and Metcalf, and it's not remotely close.
We're not sure where Judy is just yet.
Metcalf is unquestionably.
It's probably Metcalf and Lockett.
Yeah, it's unquestionably them, but still, Russ is just playing bad this year. But it's not here or there. Let's get some more bets. Paris Campbell over 21.5 receiving yards. We bet that yesterday. I'm almost certain it's moved. Let's see. Might not be worth it. Campbell minus 110. Probably still.
Is he like the third or the fourth receiver in this in this offense? Where is he at right now?
I don't know. We have. It's Pittman's the top receiver, and then no one. That's it.
I think Pierce and Doolin are more talented for what it's worth, but maybe I'm just bitter because I rostered Paris Campbell in the week when everybody was not playing, and he put up a 0.
Probably. Yeah, no, that was a yeah. So he's hit the over in 2 games this season. The one that was a way outlier was that game. But I like the over on his receiving yards. I think it's solid 21.5. He's gotten 4, 2, 2, and 4 targets so far this season. And again, 2 bad ones came against KC and what was a weird game, and Jacksonville. He should see 3 to 4 targets in the spot again. Ryan's going to throw the ball. It's going to happen. They are pretty much forced to. So, yeah, I think that it's pretty solid there. I was thinking about betting the over on
Doolin
race and receptions. What do you think about that? It's sitting at 1.5. Let me check what the odds are.
I'm pretty sure Mo Alley Cox, every single game, has been running more routes for what it's worth. Now, I'm not sure if they're running double tight end stuff. I don't have the route stuff up in front of me right now. But Mo Alley Cox has been on the rise.
He's been solid ever since I think week 1. But great Granson had so far the season 4, 2, 2, and 7 targets to go along with 4, 2, 2, and 3 receptions. You can get it minus 115 over at PointsBet, minus 120 at Betfred, at Bet365, which have to be in certain states for that. I think I'm going to hit that. I think I like it.
I'm pulling up the Roto Grinders, how much the player usage tool. I'm not sure if you're aware of it. I'm sure you're aware of it. But yeah, Mo Alley Cox, week 1 through week 4, 54% of snaps, 54, 59, 70 on the rise. Granson, 55, 54, 42, 45. So he's just sort of on the field for half the snaps. I don't have routes run. That feels that will be important as well too. Obviously, if they're just out there getting pancakes and blocking, there's no perk in that. Wood's the pretty clear third tight end. Interesting, but they probably run 2 tight end sets a good bit. But I would just be guessing there.
Yeah, well, I mean, also without what's his name, without Taylor in there, I'm hitting it. I'm hitting it.
Well, the number's just 1.5. That's what you got to hit, right?
Yeah, so it's the main thing. I'm betting the number. That's what it is. He's hitting 4 straight. And Granson. Yep, I'm hitting it. Can't bet over at points bet, unfortunately. But, most people can.
Is PointsBet mostly nationwide? I feel like it's not.
It's one of the more nation. Like, it's probably behind It's like Tier 1, FanDuel, DraftKings, Caesars, MGM. Tier 1B is PointsBet, I would say.
Okay.
So got that. Another one, we talked about it already. Melvin Gordon over 52.5 rushing yards, -109 over at Caesars. Gordon, he's the guy in this offense, and he hasn't been great so far this season, but I don't expect that to continue. Easy over. I think you're in agreement with that.
Well, I am. I would just say, like, I'm not sure if you've heard the rumors and who can confirm or whatever, but there was speculation that Denver was looking into cutting Gordon before the injury to Javonte. He has got 4 fumbles in 4 games, and they're just like, they don't like that. They frown upon that as an organization. But at the same time, like, he is the clear veteran. They do like Boone for some, at least to some degree. They were working him in as a third running back when both Javonte and Gordon were out there. Not a ton, but like maybe 10% of snaps or 15% of snaps. But I would assume they're going to lean on Gordon. If he does fumble, like he's going to be quarantined to the bench. I think that's that.
I don't think that'll happen in this game. But
yeah, I don't let him predict.
Are kind of like. They're kind of. I mean, Todd Gurley at one point was the highest fumbling back, and then a year later he was one of the lowest. They come and go. It's probably an aberration, but we're care about this tonight and tonight only, and I'm hitting the over.
I like it in theory. I like the number in theory. I was just throwing out like that.
It's also 5 yards lower at Caesars than it is anywhere else.
Okay, what's the number at Caesars?
52.5.
Yeah, that seems like a pretty good number.
Yeah, it's all the way up to, oh gosh, they took it off the board. It's up to 60.
And the Colts will be without their middle linebacker. They came back last game, and he's already gone again.
Yeah,
he broke his nose, I believe. Something happened to him.
Next bet: Sutton over 4.5 receptions, -140 at Betfred. Sutton over 63.5 receiving yards, -110 over at FanDuel. Sutton is the guy in this offense. Hit both those in 3 out of 4 games this season. Lone one coming on the under receptions was week 1 in that weird game going up against Seattle where he still had 7 targets. He's been great so far this season. He's the clear number 1 option for Russ. I don't think that's in debate. Had close to 9 targets a game. Should see the same volume tonight. Indy's defense against the pass has not been great so far this season. Easy over for me.
Yeah, I like it. I think that number is too low.
All right. We got some weekend games.
Let me ask this. Is there an Albert O bet by chance? Like, I wonder, is the number like a half or is it like 1.5? Can you find that? Because he's just like been relegated to nothing at this point. It's outrageous how much they
remember how to spell his last name.
OKWUEG.
Yeah, there's no lines out for him.
Okay. In theory, I would like the unders if it's like 1.5. Because he's got a name recognition, but man, it's just not happening.
Yeah, it's been rough this season. Josh Allen over 42.5 rushing yards, +108 at Caesars. Why it's +108, I don't know.
You're getting positive juice, huh?
Yeah, and he's hit this in I think 2 out of 4 games, maybe 3 out of 4 games. I know one game he only had 1 rushing attempt. Yeah, he hit this in 3 out of 4 games. One game he had only 1 rushing attempt. That was against Tennessee. That was because of the blowout. While going up against Pittsburgh, there's a decent chance that this is a blowout. I still think that line's a little bit too low to have plus odds because he's got some feet. He's got some feet, Daniel.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. Like, a lot of times he gets his rushing yards on scrambling, on pressure, and all that. I'm trying to think how much pressure Pittsburgh will put on him. But the other thing is like, I also feel like Buffalo is not the kind of team that just like grinds a game down. I guess they will if they need to in the fourth quarter. Like they're 2 touchdown favorites, but I think they're going to throw for like 3 quarters. I think that's
they've shown in the past that they're always willing to, even when they should run the ball, they're just like, nope, throwing it, doing it. Let's get as much points on the board, and then when it's clearly out of range, then we can slow down. But they'll
call design runs for him too.
Huh? Yeah.
They'll call design runs for Allen. It's not all just scrambling.
Yeah. Austin Eckler over 49.5 rushing yards. He's averaging 3.1 yards a carry, but he's had 14 plus carries in 3 out of 4 games this season. He's good. He's like an actual good running back. And I know that they're just using him a ton in the passing game, and game script has kind of been weird. But going up against Cleveland's defense has not been great. Probably without Clowney this week, and potentially without Garrett again, although he came back to practice, potentially without their D lineman, although he did come back to practice. So they should have an increase or a better defensive line this week, but still they've been rough against the run. And I think that like Chargers could easily blow this team out, even though I think the line's sitting at 5.5 or 3.5. I can't remember. Under 50 yards is too low of a line.
It's a weird one, man. That line smells like you mentioned the line. I think it's like 3 actually, 2.5. It's, wow. I mean, it's West Coast team moving east, not all east, but east time zone, and 1 o'clock game. And the Chargers
technically east time zone, or is it central?
Cleveland?
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't matter. The start time will still be 12 Eastern.
Yeah, it might be central. It's whatever, but it's a similar point. I hear what you're saying. And also it's the Chargers, man. They just find ways to goof stuff up, man. They're just always underachievers. It's just unfortunate that's the stigma. And until things change. Oh,
would you say they're cursed? Because I've heard you say that before.
No, I would not say they're cursed. I don't think curses are real, but that's a whole other conversation. The Red Sox were cursed until they weren't.
Yeah, that's true. You can break a curse. Kyler Murray under 26.5 rushing yards. He's hit the under in 2 out of 4 games. He hasn't been rushing nearly as much as we've seen in the past. He just doesn't really look right.
It's so weird what's going on in Arizona. I was talking about this last night with Dago and Rebar, 2 guys that are much smarter than me. And like traditionally you script plays too, right? You script these plays first 10, first 15. A lot of coaches don't do that. I'm not sure if Kingsbury does. I assume he does. Arizona has not scored in the first quarter this year. Like it hasn't happened. They've been an incredible second half team, but they've been just completely get the doors blown off the first half every single game this season, basically. I don't know if that means he's good at like adjusting at halftime, or it's just like Kyler is just doing Kyler things just to kind of like, salvage and make
stuff
happen.
Tim Tebow all over again.
How dare you?
No, I mean, like
Kyler Murray.
When they switch up the defense to try and prevent things, that's when Kyler thrives, because he's a guy who's quick and do stuff with his legs. So that could be it. I don't know, but
he's not running this year. Yeah, that's the other thing. Is that I don't know if that's designed or
he got paid. There's no reason for him to risk his body as much.
I mean, is that really it? Like that doesn't make any sense. Like Lamar hasn't gotten paid and he's running plenty.
Yeah, because he wants to get paid.
But he's risking injury in theory.
Yes, he is risking injury, but also like he wants to get paid. He wants one of the biggest contracts in NFL history. So
he's gonna get it. He should.
Geno Smith, best QB in the league, over 241.5 passing yards.
What's your favorite football team again?
The Seattle Seahawks.
Okay, just I'm independent of nothing. I just wanted to ask that question.
Oh, who's been the best QB in the league the last 2 weeks?
that's the sample size that you go off of 2 weeks.
I mean, who has one of the highest passer ratings for the season?
Who played against the Lions?
Yeah, it's 4 teams have played against the Lions.
And all of them looked amazing.
Yeah, but 241 is just 1.5 is too low a line. I hit it. He's playing in New Orleans, which New Orleans has been middle of the pack.
They're supposed to be a good defense.
Yeah, it's supposed to be good, but they've been middle of the pack so far this year versus the past. And I mean, it's being played in a dome, which will help. Like 241 is a low line. Easy over for me.
Yeah, tough place to play historically.
But high scoring environment historically.
Yeah.
Cooper Rush under 234.5 passing yards. Rush is not really a guy that's going to do a ton in the game. They want to run the ball. Tougher matchup going up against the Rams. I know the pass defense hasn't been great so far this season, but it should still be with Donald and Ramsey a decent passing defense. They're going to run the ball. Like Dallas wants to run the ball. They don't want to have Rush do too much. While Gallup getting back in there is a plus. I think Cooper Rush has hit the under in this in every single game he's played. He might have hit the over once. He hit the over once by the hook, but averaging around 225 passing yards a game. Easy under for me.
You think he gets paid like some team out there, like, you know, he's doing a decent enough job showcasing, and he's just managing the game, right? But he's got the W's. They're 3-0, right?
Yeah.
I'm not buying Cooper Rush for the record.
I'm not either. I mean,
yeah.
he's going to be a decent backup. I don't think he's going to be a starter. Like, he's just got insane amount of talent around him. Like, defensively, they've been great. They have Schultz. They have CD. They now have Gallup. They have Zeke. They have Pollard. Zeke's not great anymore, but Pollard's very good. They got a good line, even though they're missing.
I think the line's bad now, isn't it? Isn't it like, or is it middle of the road?
I think it's been solid rushing and just okay for pass blocking, but they're missing their best tackle, I believe. And
yeah.
I think one other guy. Yeah, I'm taking the under. I'm also taking the under on Schultz receiving yards. Same issue. Zach Wilson over 32.5 passing attempts. Zach Wilson. I mean, you got to love that guy, right?
I mean, a certain demographic allegedly loves him.
But 36 pass attempts in the last game. Flacco, I think, hit the over on this easily each of those first 3 games. Zach Wilson, matchup versus Miami without Tua. Probably going to be down still. Should be positive game script.
Oh, Tua's going to be out, by the way. You said Tua?
Yeah, I said without Tua.
Oh, I'm sorry. I misheard you.
Yeah. Minus 120 over bet 365. I'm hitting it. Devin Singletary. What do you think his receiving yards prop is?
I think it's probably too low because he's been. I know he had a bunch of targets the last game.
2 games ago, he had 11. Last game, he had 5.
Okay. Yeah.
125 receiving yards the last 2 games. What do you think his line's at?
Well, the other thing that's worth noting about Singletary is that, you know, it was kind of like a split to some degree last year.
Yeah, not anymore.
He's separated himself. He's like the main guy back there. Like, I have the snap stuff in front of me. Probably around 80% last game.
Yeah, I think it was 80% and 90% of the running back opportunities went to him. Yeah, massive. So Singletary over 17.5 receiving yards.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
What's the juice?
It's just a bad line.
What's the juice?
What's the juice? Minus 110.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I got the snaps, by the way. So Singletary week 1, 59%, week 2, 54, 73, 88. Zach Moss, 20, 37, 19, 17, 9%. The rookie Cook, 5%, 26, 12, 3. Like it's just his backfield, basically. Now there might be some mop-up duty if this game gets out of hand, but theoretically he would have already gotten there by the time that happens.
Yeah. Let's see. What else do I have? Brandon Cooks. I don't know if you know this. He's kind of the guy in Houston.
By default, if nothing else, yeah.
I mean, it's not great, but it's pretty much him and then Nico Collins.
Yeah.
Like, they've been both really solid. They both been seeing a decent amount of volume. I took the over on Nico Collins at 38.5 receiving yards, and I took the over on Cooks at 66.5. Took it last week. I don't know if I actually ended up hitting last week.
I think it did. He had a pretty solid week.
Well, I think you might have hit it like very end of the game.
Hey, still scoreboard.
Yeah, no, I mean, I still won money. Let me see. But yeah, Cooks is minus 110 over at bet 365. Collins is minus 110 over at bet 365. No, he actually hit the under. It was 59.5, and he was at 57.5 for like the entirety of the fourth quarter, and they just didn't really throw to him at the end.
I talked to Blender about this, and Blender's been playing Prize Picks, doing really well on him. And he was telling me, like, basically somebody was giving him a hard time for recommending, like, he basically said he bet him like on like a Monday or like on a Tuesday before the number adjusted. Like, it adjusted from 56 to like 60. And he got it at the right number, and this other person got the wrong number. They're like bad call. It's like, what do you mean bad call? Like, you got to get the money in right.
I had one guy in my Discord that like every single day, not a great day, 3 and 5. I'm like, no, I went 6 and 1.
Yeah.
Oh well, I got it at different lines, And I'm like,
Well,
I didn't tell you to bet something. Like I told you earlier on the week, bet it at this line. Like, and
it's
so
the most important thing to stress is like line shopping. That's the
there's a reason
main
why
reason.
in my
It's not you
Discord,
like the player, you just like the line half the time or most of the time.
yeah, we have a prop shopping tool where all you have to like Nico Collins. If you don't have Bet 365, let's see.
You're probably not betting it.
No, I think there's one other one.
Okay.
Like I get limited or kicked off of so many different things. Yeah, Nico Collins, like I'm betting at 365. I don't hate it at 2 yards more at minus 115, but it's not nearly the same. Like Cooks, you can probably get at a similar line on other places.
Yeah.
Let's see. Cooks, 66.5 minus 110 over at MGM. I can't bet on MGM. I haven't been able to bet on MGM for like a year. So I took what's essentially the exact same line at Bet 365, go over to the prop shopping tool, and you can easily get things done. Christian Kirk, under 63.5 receiving yards. He is the you don't like that one?
I like him this week. And he's clearly the guy. Like, and Zay Jones, we'll see if he plays this week. I'm not really sure how much that matters.
It matters. I mean, but then again, Christian Kirk easily hit the under, but that was weather related. Now they're playing.
It was like a monsoon, yeah.
Yeah. Like I hit all the unders in that game.
That's sharp. Yeah.
I went like 9-0 in that game. That was probably the main thing about my weekend is I just destroyed that game.
Kevin Ross, proud of you.
Who were they playing? I can't remember.
It was Philadelphia.
It was Philly. So I had the under on pass attempts on both Lawrence and on Hurts. I had the under on Kirk, Jones. I think one of the tight ends in the game. I had the under on Goddard, so I went 9-1. Goddard was the only one that didn't hit. He got 5 receptions. I had a 4.5. Had the under on Smith, I want to say.
Did you bet over on Miles Sanders?
I think I bet the over on Miles Sanders. Yeah. I bet the under on James Robinson receiving yards. He got 0. It was just a beautiful game.
That's the
best. Yeah. Kirk under 63.5. He's clearly the alpha in this lineup, but I mean, they should
get out of the lead. And they seem to have some chemistry there. I think they bounce back, and if Houston can hang, I think this game can be kind of fun.
Yeah,
it's like an ugly. We're not really sure. Is Jacksonville kind of good? Maybe they might be.
Yeah, I think they are, but we're probably getting towards the end of the timeline. Is there any bet that you really didn't want? You want to take the opposite side of Christian Kirk for a movie bet?
Oh yeah. What was the number? 66, you said?
63.5.
Oh, he's going over that. Yeah.
All right.
I still owe you a movie, and you still owe me a movie, I think.
Yeah, I think I still have to watch Casino.
Which is that's the greatest punishment in the world. It's an incredible movie.
Yeah. I'll make you go see a movie in theaters for the one you owe me.
No. We're not putting pants on.
I would suggest it. Go see Bros. We'll talk to it after the show.
I like that Billy Eichner. He's funny.
Yeah, that was the main reason I saw it.
Yeah, he's good.
Hilarious.
Yeah. I heard it didn't do well.
Yeah, it didn't. But it's been fun, guys. Good luck. We're out of here. Later, kids.
Holler.